All right. Well, we are live, and it's great to be back. We haven't done the show for at least 2, 3 weeks,
Two,
and
3 weeks.
at least, yeah.
Feels like a
I
couple
think
days.
it's been like 6 months.
Well, the Super Bowl just ended, and the Bengals were not in the Super Bowl, so we didn't feel the need to cover the postseason. And to be honest, the end of the regular season, the second half of the regular season, because it was really we were just thinking about this point, which is which quarterback are they going to draft?
Burrow.
Now, okay,
Joe Burrow or bust. Bernie or bust. Burrow or bust. That's how I am politically. That's how I am NFL wise.
yeah. Well, it's not so black and white. So, first of all, we're not sure they
It's
want a quarterback. We're not
black and
sure about
orange.
I mean, because we know that a lot of fans are thinking, hey, Andy Dalton is not even 35. Poor guy hasn't even played a decade in
That's
the league.
true. Poor
He
Andy.
still has potential.
Yeah.
Maybe we trade down,
This might be his
get
breakout year.
get some offensive linemen,
Yeah.
or maybe a top
Invest
cornerback.
in Andy. Great idea.
Right. Maybe there's some guys coming out from Ohio State. You never know. There's a lot of guys you can
No
draft.
one is saying that, Dadio. No one is saying that. Everybody, for the
And then
first
you
time
have
in
the
Bengals
other
history, there's consensus. Joe Burrow. Consensus. It's done. Conversation done. Show over.
Are you including Logie in your consensus?
Yes. Logie is on board.
Okay.
Everybody's on board. Everybody, we have created
If
consensus.
Logie's on board, then we're drafting Burrow. But let's just for the sake of, let's just have the discussion.
Well, yeah, let's do process of elimination. You got your Tua.
Hold on. Slow down. So, okay, you want to start with Tua? Is that what you want to do?
Let's start with Tua, because he was the other guy that everybody was naming. He was on everybody's lips, but now everybody doesn't feel like that anymore.
Yeah. Well,
It was
Tua,
a passing phase, like Bangs.
Tua was
There's
the
a reason for that.
There's a reason for that. Yeah, go ahead. John's going to tell us the reason.
Go. You
Joe.
do the go.
John.
No, so what were you saying? That he was the consensus number one, like 4 months ago, and then something happened. His hip almost died on him, and hey, what's up, man?
Right. Sorry, John. Yeah.
What happened to him? And luckily, it's not going to be anything serious in terms of derailing his career in general. But yeah, like the whole hip injury for Tua really derailed his draft stock and really elevated Burrow to where he is now, and as the consensus number one. But with everything that's happened with Tua, the fact that he's no longer, where he was in this time last year when people were talking about him for this year's draft, he's still a very, really, really good quarterback prospect. And I think it's been the elevation of Burrow that has kind of put Tua on the back burner, but we need to remember what has gotten Tua to this point in general. And it's the fact that, honestly, he just looks like a left-handed Drew Brees back there. And that's because his footwork in the pocket is exemplary. He manages to step up and slide and do all these things very meticulously, very technically. And I know that Alabama has had a great offensive line, and he hasn't had to deal with pressure that much. And when he does deal with pressure, it can get a little out of whack. And that's similar to what Brees does as well. But the ball gets out of his hands really quickly, and it always ends up being very accurate, a very tight spiral. And that's because his mechanics are very much on point for somebody as young as him, for someone who doesn't have a ton of starting experience to his name. But it's all very technically savvy and technically great. And when you get him in the right situation, like he was in Alabama, it can look like, number one pick status. But the fact that he did have this hip injury basically doesn't take him out of the conversation for the Bengals, but you have to think with all the past troubles that they've had with first-round picks being injured, it almost does take him out of the conversation.
Well, I mean, when you look at the Bengals and the way they like to, and I hate to say this because I know Carson Palmer would just love to hear this. We are allowed to say this, but he is not. You look at the Bengals and the way they spend on things like, training a staff. And I think they have like a school nurse, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, if there's like a scrape or a
her
bruise,
name is Betty.
They have Betty.
She puts salve on it. She just has like a big jar of salve, and anything that happens, she puts it on your little
So you're
spray.
thinking of like a guy like Tua. If he's, if he's coming in with these injury questions, will they be able to? It's not that he cannot make it work, but the question is, would it work on the Bengals with their way of handling
now
injuries?
that's another thing. That's another thing that makes Burrow the right choice for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah.
And that's what people aren't realizing, is that Burrow is actually a down-to-earth, win-it-all, positive. You cannot have a prima donna on this team. We learned
but that's
that
not Tua. Are you comparing him to Tua in that sense, or are you comparing him to Palmer?
No, I'm 100% just talking about Burrow. I'm saying this is why Burrow's great. Like, I watched this clip where Burrow's like, I'm just a young guy from Ohio. That's it. I'm a simple man with simple needs.
Well, we're not getting.
He's got the right attitude.
I do think,
yeah. You can't have like here's the thing. If it's going to be someone like Carson Palmer who's like, I have to have all my ducks in a row to win, which is also the Eli Manning attitude, which is also why he doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame. That doesn't work on the Cincinnati Bengals. Whoever comes in this year, actually who had the right attitude. I hate to say it because I'm not a big fan of Munchkin quarterbacks. Right. Is the Cleveland Browns guy. He created a lot of hype because he had a good attitude.
Okay.
Baker Mayfield. But I'm talking about the attitude. You have to have the right attitude.
I think there's too much attitude. I think he regretted it too. I think you can't come into the NFL.
No, the hype worked, man. They won like 6 games.
That's true. That's good for Cleveland. That's true.
That's good, man. Cleveland, 6 games, you're good.
I give you that. That's true. Okay. So Tua has a lot of great attributes. We got the injury question. And a guy who is better than Tua in one area, which is arm strength, is Justin Herbert.
Yes.
He just got this. He got this cannon, and he can just launch it and just.
And not just arm strength, body strength. Okay. The man is like he looks like a cartoon version of what football players are like. The man is very fit.
He's a little too tall to play the position because
I think he is.
I think quarterbacks over 6'5" have not had a lot of success.
How tall is he?
6'6".
6'5.5". I've seen him in person.
Yeah, I mean, I tell everybody I'm 5'4".
It's more 6'5" than 6'7". Let's just say that.
Well, it's still too tall. I think he's right over the limit. John, no.
Again, like 6'5", 6'6", 230 pounds, moves like someone a lot smaller than that. Everything physically is what you want in a guy like Burrow. And I again, like if you're talking 6'7", 6'8", 6'9",
you're talking Herbert.
Yeah. Sorry. Excuse me. The height issues, I guess, work for someone a little bit taller than him. And talking about like John Skelton and Brock Osweiler in that sense, I don't think height is what's going to make Justin Herbert not exactly work out. It's everything. Like you read his scouting reports and they say this guy can make all the throws and whatnot. But in reality, you may see 1 or 2 of those in the game, and everything else is a lot of more in terms of inconsistency. Because at Oregon, he played behind such a great offensive line, such a talented offensive line. He didn't really have to deal with pressure that much. When he did, he had the athleticism to escape the pocket, but he didn't have the processing ability to make stuff work out of structure. So he has the athleticism and the arm talent to make any throw like a Patrick Mahomes, but it's not always going to be where it needs to go. It's not always going to be accurate. And his completion percentage was greatly elevated this year by a lot of screens, a lot of quick and easy open passes. And from a production standpoint, that's fine. That's what you want to see. You want to see some type of growth in that regard.
Right.
But in terms of how it can work in the NFL, it's going to take a lot more of a learning curve for him compared to other top quarterbacks in this class. I think in the right situation, you can get a decent quarterback out of Herbert because the physical tools are all there, and you need to make sure you have a system and a coaching staff in place that is willing to make the best out of what he is. But I think even though he has the most starting experience out of these 3 quarterbacks, he's coming into the NFL with the least capability to succeed early, and I don't think that's what the Bengals need right now.
No, and when you watch the clips of Herbert, he lacks the acumen of a Burrow. And he lacks the imagination of a Burrow. And those 2 things matter.
And it's crazy because you see multiple times a game where he just makes throws that not every other quarterback in college can make. And the torque and the arm talent is so uncanny and will find a place in the NFL in some capacity.
Oh, yeah.
But the inconsistency, though, it's striking. And it's like he has all this athleticism, but he doesn't really know what to do with his feet yet. And that has to deal with manipulating the pocket. That has to deal with dealing with pressure. It has to deal with putting his foot in forward and putting these right mechanics in terms of his footwork in the right position to make these throws, because you want him to succeed so bad for the tools that he has. And it's not necessarily at the level that Josh Allen was. It's not that level of abysmal. It's definitely above that. But it's almost like a Ryan Tannehill situation where you had an athletic guy in college who showed signs of accuracy, but it just may take a lot longer than for other quarterbacks to really develop into something worthwhile.
Right, because what the Bengals need really is an Aaron Rodgers type, someone who can run the game and do a lot more than just a great QB with a great arm does, which is what Herbert is.
Why would I disagree with that?
What I'm going to say next, which is I think when I see Joe Burrow, I see a guy who moves around and throws people open, and it reminds me. And he directs traffic and all that.
Yeah,
he kind of seems like a more athletic, maybe a little more athletic, weaker armed Aaron Rodgers.
yes,
I see a little bit. I see it in terms of the creativity.
he's a lot like
in terms
Aaron
of the
Rodgers,
ability.
and that's a good
to,
thing. That's a really
Yeah.
good thing.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know, man. Like I feel like Rodgers. I feel there's a level of smoothness to the way that Burrow, moves around the pocket and steps up and creates on his own. I think Rodgers is a little more raggedy and then
Well,
Well, that's kind of what I mean. Yeah.
no, but
he's
you guys
better.
have been
No,
watching.
no,
You guys have been
no.
watching old Rodgers. Have you
No,
gone back and
no.
watched the clips of Rodgers like years and years ago? Because he looks more raggedy now than he did then.
Well, anyways,
no,
go ahead, John.
Burrow has shown the capability to process all these things really rapidly, and when it happens to go out, and when all his options have been exhausted, when he has to deal with pressure, it looks like he just has a plan for everything. With Rodgers, it's kind of more like he just thinks on the fly. He's almost like a gunslinger in that regard, and he's been able to get away with it because he can throw off of any base and off of wherever his body is really facing. With Burrow, it's not always that simple. He needs to be able to be facing his target to make an accurate throw. He doesn't have that ability like a Patrick Mahomes or Rodgers in that sense to make all these different throws. And that's what kind of separates Herbert in that regard.
I mean, I agree.
Okay,
those are
John wins.
Well, no, what I mean is, those guys that play the backyard football, right? Okay, the Roethlisberger is a little sloppy with it.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
But Rodgers is a cow with arms.
Rodgers is more responsible with it. And Burrow, I see him playing the backyard football very responsibly in general, making really smart decisions, anticipation, all that kind of stuff. And that's kind of what I meant, is in that sense, in today's NFL, I think the Burrow fit he's the kind of guy who you can have not the greatest play calling, you can have not the greatest personnel, you can have all that kind of stuff.
Which is what they're going to be at Cincinnati. But that's the thing of the people not agree. If I want to speak, can I speak directly to Carson Palmer?
Yeah,
Carson, I got to speak directly to you. Burrow
I don't think he deserves that.
No. You got to listen, Carson Palmer. Listen to me. This is not you. This is not a man who grew up eating like fancy finger foods and wearing bow ties. This is the Ohio boy. This is not a man who needs, he doesn't need his chauffeur to come pick him up and tell him what passes to throw. This is a man who's going to make the game happen, and that's why we want this man.
Yeah.
And you know what else? One more thing. This is a man who's going to be forever associated with the Cincinnati Bengals uniform. And that's the thing that Cincinnati gives him that no other team can give him. Because if he goes to Miami, he's got the shadow of a Dan Marino. Now I love Kenny Anderson, I love Boomer, but they were no Dan Marino. I think Burrows can be a Dan Marino.
Well, it's funny with all the media, ganging up on the Bengals. They're such bad franchise. When people point out that hey, they've had more success in recent years and all that. I still get the criticism, and we've never won the Super Bowl. We've had a lot of kind of unique problems in our franchise, but the playoff drought and all that. But I will say this: all the hype, the negative hype,
yes,
they're building around Burrow going to the Bengals and trying to kind of complicate it or just sensationalize it.
Right.
That will only make his tenure with the Bengals, his career with the Bengals, that more legendary.
Exactly.
I think they're setting the stage for this guy to come in and just
wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
But
are you doing a Trump thing right now?
No.
Okay, all right. Because I felt like you were going in that direction. You're talking about the media. You're talking about a big comeback.
Oh, there's so much fake news about this Burrow thing. He doesn't want to come to this. It makes me sick. It makes me sick.
I knew it. You fascist. Here's the thing.
No. Okay.
Here's the thing.
Go ahead.
Burrow is the pick. Okay, and everybody else is gonna have to get over it. But what really came out with us having the first pick after a long time was the amount of hatred that people have for the Cincinnati Bengals in the media. So I'm kind of with you on this, Dadio. Like, wow. Like, why don't we deserve Burrow? Like, this is a solid team. You got a solid receiving core. And everybody talked about our offensive line being so bad. They weren't that bad this year. And if we had Pollock, they would have been even better.
It has nothing to do with that, though. You do realize that, right?
No, tell me, because I don't get. I feel like it's a lot of bias. Like there's a lot of Steelers fan at ESPN too. You know that, right?
All right, the number one defense mechanism that Bengals fans are using for all this right now is the fact that they've had more recent success than other bad franchises, like the Dolphins, like the Washington team, like whatever you want to name it.
Yeah,
they've gotten more lucky in terms of recent drafts to build a better team, and that's why their record has been better in the past decade. Since Carson Palmer left. That's not the reason why they're public enemy number one from the media. The Bengals have shown the propensity to not, they've kept the same head coach for 16 years. They kept the same management philosophy for 30 years. And in that time span, there was no playoff wins. They've shown the reluctancy to change for the better, while these other bad franchises, they've been bad. They've been bad. There's no denying that. I'm not saying the Dolphins or any of these other franchises are better franchises, more model franchises than the Bengals. That's not the point. They've shown the ability, the willingness to change for the better. They've shown the willingness to try something different, and they've shown. And honestly, like that's the reason why the media doesn't care about the Bengals, because they accepted.
They don't buy them off. They don't pay them off.
They've accepted this team as something that doesn't want to change for the better.
Yeah, but a part of that I feel is that people don't realize the kind of charm that Marvin Lewis had. I wrote an article about this. I really feel like Marvin Lewis was a convincing guy, and he kept everybody, especially Mike Brown, feeling like this is the year and it's coming up. And he was good enough, and especially good enough at drafting and at getting the getting really, really out of the box kind of guys on the team without really the same kind of scouting apparatus that other teams have. That we kept thinking maybe this is the year.
No, but John making a bigger point, which is that the management doesn't want to go all in. And the spend, which is kind of what Carson was saying. He's I'm glad he's not listening, because I'm kind of agreeing with this point, which is that they don't go all in with the Super Bowl thing, where they're like, whereas when a team senses they have something special, they pay, they will fire coordinators, as if they don't think they're a fit. You remember Baltimore that year? They'll do what it takes. They'll be bold. Right, where the Bengals, it's just they have Betty, for instance.
Yeah, Betty.
They have 2 scouts. Yeah, right.
Cold showers.
Yeah, they have 1 shower, I think.
Yeah, buses that smell.
Right,
we know the Bengals lifestyle.
Yeah, and it's like they're not showing the dedication. They just want to just do the minimum a lot of
roommates,
times. And that's that culture can hold back a franchise, and it has held back a franchise. And if we look at the kind of the pattern with the Bengals over the years, they'll have good teams, and they'll all fizzle out in the prime time and in the playoffs, right?
Exactly.
Right, and that's because of the culture. That's because of the culture.
That was the Marvin Lewis culture, but that was the Marvin Lewis culture. We have a new culture now.
But that's been the culture that has created this narrative that has infested the people's minds. They have proven that the Bengals have proven that the media should not take them seriously or care about them at all. And when they see a quarterback prospect, when they see a prospect in general, like Joe Burrow, this consensus #1 guy, this Heisman Trophy winner, this national champion winner, a guy who's going to be successful in the NFL, when they see him destined to go to a franchise that nobody cares about, nobody should care about, there's a reason why all this is happening. And that's also the reason why Joe Burrow has to come to Cincinnati, because he is the player that can take them out of this. It's
there
like a paradox.
There we go, Johnny boy.
Yes.
You just drove your truck home, Johnny boy.
There we go. That was a great.
Get that man a milkshake.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow,
look, he's from Ohio. He loves the team. He grew up Bengals fan. He has the toughness. He has the attitude. He has the boldness. Yeah, I think
he's a vegan.
Is he?
That's not true.
Well, he doesn't eat Skyline chili. We know that.
Oh, yeah, he must be vegan, because that's the only.
I just put 2 and 2 together.
That makes sense.
Right.
Yeah. But anyways, I mean, he is the pick. Really, I don't know why we did this show. I think it was just
because we had to get it out of our system, man.
Yeah.
I really wanted to just talk to Carson Palmer. That's it.
I don't think he deserves but
no, it's a good example of why Burrow is so good, because I'm talking about fit, and that's why I'm saying Carson Palmer was a bad fit. Actually,
no, he wasn't a bad fit.
Andy Dalton's attitude.
Franchise quarterbacks are never a bad fit on any team.
I don't think he was bad fit.
No.
But he didn't have the mental toughness of Burrow. He did not have the mental toughnness of Burrow.
Yeah,
he did not.
But look at the crap that Andy Dalton was willing to endure and not care about. That's
true.
fit.
Yeah.
You got to be a tough guy. We don't want any sassafras. We don't want any
Okay.
John Elton.
No, we don't.
Elway.
Okay. But is it fair?
John, do you? Yeah.
No. Is it fair to already claim that Burrow has more mental toughness than Palmer? Because
absolutely.
before Palmer was drafted, we had no idea that he would say these things, that he would,
Well, where was
develop
he
these
from?
Like he said,
mindsets.
he
Where
grew
was
up
he
in
from?
California. Yeah.
Yeah.
What does that matter?
Well,
It's very important.
John Elway was
This
from
is
Stanford,
advanced
right? John
scouting,
Elway was
John.
from Stanford. Eli Manning comes
Yeah.
from a fancy pants family.
Yeah.
We don't want fancy pants people in Ohio. That's the
No,
fit.
we don't. They just don't fit in. I mean, they don't. They like Palmer. Look, Palmer.
All
took the money
all
and,
that he wanted was for the Bengals to be the organization that
You know who
that
else-
Bengals fans wants.
You know who else?
That's all
was
he
from
wanted.
California.
That-
Vontez Perfect. And look how that turned out.
Well, he's not so fancy pants, but he'll pull down your
People
pants. He's
people
very
only hate
aggressive
Carson.
man.
People
He's a
only
very
hate
aggra-
Carson Palmer because he said nothing but facts.
No, John. He
No,
gave
The truth
up on
hurts.
team.
no. We
truth
hate Carson
hurts.
Palmer for
John,
many more reasons. than that.
John. He gave up on the team after he got $100 million.
He
Yes!
gave up. He maximized his leverage and got out of a bad situation.
He was a
isn't
bad
business, this
situation.
is
He was
football.
a bad situation. As Douglas H. pointed out, he threw 20 interceptions his last year with 2 borderline Hall of Fame wide receivers.
And then he
Okay.
complains about being on a
37-year-old
Cardinals
Terrell
too.
Owens.
Oh, you don't remember Terrell Owens that year? Yeah, you were still
30
like 4 years old. John,
Yeah, a decent year because of
had-
Carson Palmer.
he was amazing. No, it wasn't Carson Palmer. Carson Palmer threw 40 interceptable passes.
No.
that
Let me
year.
ask John a question.
He
Let me
was
ask
throwing.
John a-
He's terrible.
Can I ask John a quick question? What was the name of that Arizona Cardinals QB? What was his name?
Kurt Warner.
No. The crazy good guy.
Oh,
the guy.
Jake the Snake.
Plumber.
Jake Plummer.
Okay. So let me ask you a question. Who's the better quarterback? Plummer
Jake
or Carson
Plummer.
Palmer?
Jake Plummer.
Carson Palmer.
Absolutely,
Carson
Jake
Palmer is
Plummer.
the better. No, hold on, Dadio. Carson Palmer is a better quarterback. But
No.
but Jake Plummer was the man.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that guy burned it up. And the
He did.
reason that he burned it up is he had a good attitude.
I think
and
they
you-
won the same amount of playoff games, by the way.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
what I mean.
Does
because
anybody notice? Does
No, I think
anybody
Jake
notice
Plummer
when
won.
Carson Palmer went to Arizona, nobody complained about his attitude. He was just a normal dude.
Well,
You
he
know why?
complains now about being
Because-
a
Because
their
the Cardinals
expectations
put him in a
were so
position to do something in the playoffs, and what do you know? He won a playoff game.
Yeah, but Jake Plummer was better anyway.
Okay.
Carson
I
Palmer
love
was
Jake-
one of the
He won
top
a
3
playoff
quarterbacks at the
game.
top
Let's
of his
review
game.
that playoff game. Let's review that playoff game. He dumps off the ball to Larry Fitzgerald, who takes it 75 yards. He
made
did
an
nothing.
incredible play on that. He bought time and threw it across the field
Oh
to
my
him.
God. Then threw 4 interceptions the next game and got
Okay, he
them
had a bad
eliminated.
game.
He's
He had a
garbage.
bad game.
He's garbage, John.
He had the
is
propensity
garbage.
to have blow-up games, but he's
He-
the 3rd best quarterback in Bengals
He
history.
established the culture of the Bengals losing in prime time of playoffs. I blame Carson Palmer.
Yeah.
What? Because he got hurt?
No, because I don't like him.
No,
Okay,
he's,
look.
he's a man who should be wearing
All right.
bows and ribbons and eating truffles. Okay,
I agree.
He's not
You
a
will
cute.
see, John.
Anyways,
Joe Burrow has
anyways.
the toughness. He has the
We
toughness.
think he does. We think he does
We
because of
know
what
he
he's
does,
saying.
John. We know he
Anyways, so we all agree Burrow's awesome, and we're gonna get
does.
Burrow.
Yes.
No, because there's no reason to think that he's not. But we have to see how he handles the first 3 to 5 years with his organization to see what they do and how his mindset may change.
So what are they gonna do about the offensive line?
Not much.
It's okay. I mean, but they can do more. I mean, are they gonna keep this guy that I don't like, the offensive line coach? I guess so.
Yeah,
he
he's
kind
saying.
of redeemed himself the second half of the season.
I don't know, man. I thought that An Morata, what's his name, the defensive guy, he was
Luan
really-
Arumo.
that guy really stepped up. Like he did a good job without having a full, a great roster. The Bengals defense looked pretty decent.
Yeah. Well,
So I mean, we got a
think-
good season coming up next year. A lot to be excited about.
Yeah, I think we got to draft at least 1 or 2 linebackers. Maybe target some people in free agency if they're free. Like free. The price is free to sign them.
Is anybody free really, Dadio? I think
Well, yeah, it's just a new take on free agency. That's what the Bengals probably
yeah.
would like to see. But yeah,
Mixon's still young relatively. Mixon's still good.
But he's a running back. So
Ross
he's a running
is
back.
healthy.
So
Ross is
yeah.
healthy. I don't know if they're gonna keep Eifert, but I kind of hope they do. And AJ Green, there was rumors of him leaving, but it looks like he's probably gonna. I think
he said he's okay with being franchised now. By the way, can I say that these people, when they put these posts, I forget who put the post, like Amari Cooper or AJ Green, who you rather have, and everybody is insulting
Yeah.
AJ Green
Don't insult AJ.
insulting him
No.
and
no.
saying he's
Have
useless and
respect.
he's always injured and he's done.
He wasn't
just
injured.
want
He
them-
was faking.
Yeah,
There's a
they're
difference.
going to regret their words.
You
They're
are
going
gonna
to see-
regret your words
When-
when you see
Yeah,
Burrow to Green next year.
Oh,
And-
yeah.
and it's gonna be awesome. I just
Oh,
hope they don't hold back on the Burrow. Give me a big pack in the beans in that Burrow.
no,
you know what I
Burrow,
mean? Like,
no, Burrow never holds back.
no.
But
I mean, I hope they don't wait till game 8 to start him. I
No,
hope,
no.
Yeah.
No,
Just
no.
start him game 1, see
No,
what
he's
happens.
gonna play. He's gonna play every preseason game.
what
He's gonna play every game.
No, not preseason. What happens to Andy Dalton though?
They're gonna
Andy
trade him.
Dalton,
Oh, where to?
Chicago.
I don't know.
Chicago.
No.
I've always felt that
They only have 7 picks right now. They need more, so that's.
I
probably
guess
when they're
maybe
gonna
the
get another one.
Patriots. I don't know.
Patriots
but-
is a good pick, actually. Good a fit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not our problem, Hodgie. We don't have to worry about that.
No, but we
No,
have to
no,
give
no.
respect to Andy too. Andy did a decent job.
Oh, I mean,
Listen.
if you look at in terms of who I respect more, Andy Dalton or Carson Palmer, it's just no comparison.
I mean, honestly,
Why would you compare them though? Like, why is that a thing?
Because they both played quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals, John.
yeah,
And
as did Boomer Esiason.
he did. And
Yeah,
Jeff Blake. Yeah.
And I kind of liked his style too. He was a tough
Greatest
guy.
Bengals quarterbacks ever goes Ken Anderson,
Yeah.
Esiason, Jeff
Really?
Blake.
Wait. You
Jeff
put
Blake.
Esiason above Blake? I'm surprised. 'Cause
Well,
he's
he
such-
got us to the Super Bowl. It's close.
yeah, I like Esiason too.
Dalton,
Yeah.
Ryan Fitzpatrick, maybe. I
And I
don't
just-
know.
Yeah,
no,
I
no.
would-
Who's that guy that got injured? A lot of people, and then
And then finally, at the belly button lint of the list comes Carson Palmer. But you know,
yeah,
one
after
thing
Jordan
you
Palmer,
modify
by the way.
is I
After Jordan.
already put Burrow at the top of the list, even though he hasn't played the game, because that's just how I am. I'm excessive.
Yeah, I think he's already the greatest Bengals.
He's the
maybe
greatest-
maybe not Ken Anderson, but yeah, he's right there.
Yeah.
Well, John is ready to go.
Yeah, John looks
obviously.
good.
So I just want
I'm
to.
ready to find a new show.
Well,
Good luck with that.
Good luck
We
finding a show.
franchised you,
Hold
brother.
on.
We
Good luck
franchised
finding a
you.
show that has 2 people patronizing them.
Yeah, we
'Cause
own,
that's what we have.
the
we-
John Sheeran name.
We have Brian Taylor and Tanner Green for some reason.
Yeah.
God knows why.
Why would
It's
you do that?
Obviously on autopay. They are.
Don't tell them; they're gonna notice.
I don't even know if they know the show is still on. I don't know
Well,
how
it's
they
gonna.
would find out.
I mean, Dadio, can I ask you a question? If we get Burrow,
Yeah.
will you commit to more shows?
I will. I actually, the fact that we're getting closer to Burrow is why I did this show. Burrow is the only thing that gave me the courage to come back on the air.
Good.
And yeah,
More shows if we get Burrow.
yeah. Oh yeah. Even when we get close to Burrow.
And
So-
I don't think Burrow's gonna pull a Carson Palmer and Eli Manning or a John Elton on us.
I
John
mean,
Elway.
No, of course he's not. That
No.
is the dream of the national media. They want us.
I hope that Joe
Yeah.
Burrow has the same guts to ask management for the things that Carson Palmer did. I hope he handles it better,
God.
but I hope he's not complacent. We're thinking this is enough.
I don't think he will be.
Carson Palmer. I just want to clarify. Was a whiny
Yes.
guy who lost
yeah.
his talent. No, after his elbow injury, John, he lost that zip on his passes. You agree?
Sure.
And so when he goes and when he was in Oakland, he was terrible.
Yeah.
When he goes to with Bruce Arians and a Hall of Fame receiver and all this perfect stuff set up around him, he has one fluky nice season and then is bad again in the playoffs, of course, because he doesn't have the mental toughness. And that is Carson Palmer. So he was a problem, and he was looking for someone to blame, and he found it. And now he's sticking to it,
And he's
trying to make
upset.
his
He's
career
upset.
retroactively
Yeah.
greater than it was. That is Carson Palmer.
I think we can end on a high note, which is putting
Yeah.
down Carson Palmer, which always
Yeah.
gives me a high.
You guys
Yeah.
know better than Kimo von Olyhoffen.
I don't even know who that is, but I'm going out on a high.
Well,
Smell the Burrow in the air. Oh, smells so good.
yeah. Well, I think that was back when Palmer was still a decent quarterback. But anyway,
Well, when he was top 3.
yeah, he was good that year. He was good
He's
that
no Jake Plummer.
year. Yeah. But he probably would have still lost the playoff game because he doesn't have the toughness. Okay, we are done, and we are going to try to be on the show more often,
Yes.
if that's possible. Yeah.
We'll have to have
And-
Burrow updates.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, we're gonna hype this up so much. We're going to really milk this thing. It's so good for the ratings. Thank you,
Yeah.
Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that is all we have for this show. We will see you next time. So long. SVP. Guys.